All right, want to talk about you know, racial discrimination. It's like people try to, front like it don't exist or something. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, they use this terminology called white privilege, and it's true. I mean, but it's not true across the board. You know what I'm saying? So when you say that, white people get really offended. If you would have said that to me, I wouldn't trip out. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, I'd be like, it's a damn shame, man. I mean, though I listen, I don't get discriminated on too bad anymore. You know what I'm saying? But not for race reasons. For class reasons, yes, because I fall way in the low class. You know what I'm saying? So I'm discriminated on automatically. You know what I'm saying for that. Uh, I haven't had no one say nothing much racial to me in a long time. They rarely do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm lucky in that because I'm not so dark that I get that, and I'm not so light that I get it that way. Actually, for some reason, I get a pass a lot where others don't because I'm Indian. You know what I'm saying? And everyone across the board knows how bad we got done dirty. And who did we get done dirty by? It's the federal government, man. The federal government is who has always hated, targeted, destroyed the free Indian. Because you got to remember, you can look at us, man. We were free before civilization, and in the way it even says in the book that most of the Indian men had way better morality than all the French they met before America. And it's like actually the French also brought their bad habits with them and taught the Indian man, the bored Indian man who's out in the woods. They showed him all kinds of tricks and got them all fired up, especially with the fire water. And I mean, there's another one. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but the federal government doesn't only hate Indians; it hates all minority groups. So listen to my Anglos out there. I'll say my Anglos out there. When they say white privilege, maybe that's not really what that means. Though it does mean that for some people. It's like that white kid who killed 4 people drunk driving and he only got 4 months of probation. That's an example of white privilege. But it's not just white privilege, it's class privilege. And they just so happen to be white. Okay? And this country was founded white. It's going to stay white. Obama's not for the minority, man. He wants you guys to get all fired up, attacking the people who listen. The people you might think are white privileged, they're not. They're just like you. They're struggling. They're trying their best to do it right. And to all those people, got my respect, man. I mean, at least you know what I'm saying. The people who try to do right and are, for the most part, I respect you, man, and I love you. I hope the best for you, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that because if it wasn't for people who tried to live right and make the world a better place, it would not be at all. They would, if literally, if we let them do whatever they want, they would. You know what I'm saying? And when we add this race into it, it's see that's the thing. The the high mucky mucks. They use your Mr. Clean uh type your Mr. Clean type character, your hard working man, working class guy. And in his mind, he's like, no man, hey, I don't get no fucking preferential treatment. What the F are you talking about? But then again, sir, you might not get the targeting that people like myself have felt my entire life. Okay. If me and a group of people, if the cops came, for some reason, they would always come to me. They'd let everyone else go. They'd punish me. And it was because of my ethnic look. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I mean, I'm not saying I'm innocent totally neither, dude. Because listen, after you get picked on and targeted, you start getting this complex, this chip on your shoulder, and their hate fuels your rage. You know what I'm saying? And you really can't do nothing So you compensate by doing something else. And I was victim of that. You know what I'm saying? I was mad and at people, and it wasn't their fault. And this is one of the ways they did it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that is kind of true, but it's not true across the board. Because what they consider the low class goyim, uh, the the N word of the whites. You know what I'm saying? Because believe it, they think that way. Like there's even a certain tribe of Jewish people in Israel that they call the N word, and they're not. It's just, everyone's got their own. There's ethnic hate going on because we don't know. A lot of ethnic groups had war in the past with others, so there's generational hostilities. You know what I'm saying? And you can see this in Indian culture over and over again because people that were warring, they would have peace, but then after a few years, the younger ones would have a fight from different tribes. They normally over a woman, and then they would the war would start all up again. It'd be just like if they made a two-state in Israel, and then one day a Palestinian walks up and cracks a Zionist Jew in the head. It'll rekindle all their previous hate to each other, even if they were at relative peace for a period of time. That's just the way these things work. It's like Bloods and Crips. You gotta destroy the ideology before you can make the real peace. I'm not talking about fake peace. Like, you stay over there on your side of the road and I'll stay on mine. That's not peace. You know what I'm saying? That's a mutual ceasefire. You know what I'm saying? But watch one of them step on each other's shoes and then watch it ratchet all up. And after the years of peace between the two, they got big armies. You know what I'm saying? On either side, because from the peace is what gave them the time to grow, to bring in the next wave of whack. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty crazy, man, how this stuff works, man, and it has always been this way. And now they're allowing illegals to come in, and they're basically letting them get slave labor wages, which kills the economy. So now all those neoconservative white people's fears are confirmed. The foreigners are coming to take their jobs and take their women. I mean, that's really the way they think too. And I mean, to some extent, it is true. Anytime a conquering faction comes in, they start targeting your women as a way to demoralize you. You got to look into the Willie Lynch papers, and that shit is motherfucking racist, dude. That's so racist, man. See, people want to always downplay the level of at the heart of this beast. It is very racist, man, and it all goes back to that Aryan, the Vikings, Hitler. It all goes back to the same fantasy that for some reason you're so special. You know what I'm saying? That everyone else needs to die. If you were so special, you wouldn't need to kill no one. You know what I'm saying? Because you're superior, right? So who cares about the peons? So obviously there's something else going on here. It's, you know what I mean? I mean, this discrimination is used in so many ways. Like I said, now it's more classist. If you watch that movie Freeway from the 80s or the 90s with Reese Witherspoon and Keith Sutherland, you can see how that movie was like, it was it was Crowley's vision of the future, where the parents are deviant drug addicts, the children are in gang culture, and then you got this scientist guy, this smart psychological guy, and he's the real killer, and he wants to get rid of the degenerates. You know what I'm saying? Watching that, I'm like, man, we were programmed, man. This is the way life really is when you watch that. And I'm like, this is this programming. They're rubbing it in your nose. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's like if it was all on people's will, You know what I'm saying? To that they would be drug addicts. Well, then how come Huxley, Leary, and others did all these MK Ultra social engineering experiments in the 50s and 60s? Then, if it wasn't an operation, if it wasn't intentional, it's not. It can't be just us when it was intentional, and it's them bringing the shit in, them making it like LSD. They had to make it. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, even like the the stimulants, that chemical fucking recipe was leaked to the damn public. It wasn't. Ain't no dude in a hood taught himself how to do any of that. Someone leaked it to him for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So they can have a new boogeyman to chase around. You know what I'm saying? And they can target more people more broadly because they know behind closed doors, you know, how people really are when they're not holier than thou in front of an audience. I mean, here's the way, you know, the Bible explains it too. It's like, look, if you confess your faults to one another, you know what I'm saying? God will forgive you. And here's another thing. You can't fix no problem until you acknowledge it. But you can't just acknowledge it by solely your own standard. You know what I'm saying? Solely by your understanding. Like, look, this is what I've been praying for more than anything lately. You know, I asked God, I'm like, look, help me not lean to my own understanding, because that's been my problem. One of the problems with being smart is that you start to lean on that. You know what I'm saying? You start to get so damn logical and so, you know, you got to be so dang scientific about everything that it actually makes you stupider. You know what I'm saying? In a way. So, you know, I've been asking, just listen, let me not lean to my own understanding, God. It's like, look, when need be, remind me to lean to yours. You know what I'm saying? So, because I know I'm a flawed individual. You know what I'm saying? I got issues. I've learned a lot of bad habits. I've also had a lot of societal social engineering programming my whole life. And I look at my elders and I'm like, you guys had 15, 20, 30 years more of programming, brainwashing, indoctrination than me. It's a miracle at all that you can even snap out to the degree that you're coming out of it. But when it comes to the generation below me 10 years, I mean, my brother, that's my brother. So, you know, I'm going to constantly preach at him. Everyone, listen. When I was a fucking just a drug dealer, just a rapper, just a guy from the hood, everyone loved me. I mean, I ain't gonna say that. Not everyone loved me, but listen, everyone liked me a lot, man. I mean, they always treated me with respect. I'm talking people older than me, grown folks. They treated me with respect. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a relatively respectable guy, man. Especially when it comes to business, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because I had decent ethics on that, dude. You know, but you know, once I got out of that, and I went into the political and the truth, the conspiracies. Because if you go to the political and the truth, truly, you're gonna realize all these conspiracies. It's gonna shake your paradigm. It's gonna rock your dang world. And it's like, dude, listen. People went like this. Look. I mean, I wish I could have some people to learn with, to fellowship with, to know, to see, you know, the fruit of the effort of sharing what you know with others. And I mean, to a small extent, I do see that a little bit, but I meet so much resistance, man, so much skepticism. And look, you know, I try to be honest as possible. I mean, listen, if you're sincere about it, you should be able to acknowledge things. And you know, for the most part, you know, I do acknowledge these things. But Everyone, when you go conspiracy, it's like you're the prophet of doom. Everyone runs away.